Hello everyone and welcome to my final MMP showcase and reflection. I made a PowerPoint that I can move through to make it easier to explain what my final MMP was and my reflections on it. So the purpose of my MMP was professional development for members of the English department at my high school to train them on different multimodal tools that can be implemented into the classroom. I really wanted something that I could hopefully implement next year as professional development as a way of teaching some of my colleagues more about the changing ways of literacy in an attempt to better understand our students and further engage them with reading. The objective of my MMP for the professional development is to introduce teachers to a variety of different multimodal tools that they can try out and use in the classroom. This was really hard for me because I really wanted to touch on everything that I love about technology and different uses of social media, but I tried for the purposes of this MMP to keep it more limited. So getting started, I would like to form a committee of colleagues from my English department. Basically, I would like to talk to people who are the most interested in learning about this. I figure if I can start with a small group and make a professional learning community or a PLC with just my colleagues who have interest in this, it can eventually stretch beyond just those who are interested and grab the attention of other teachers who gain interest as we continue to discuss this in our professional learning communities. I would start with a pre-assessment of my teachers. What technology do they already use in the classrooms? And what technology do they already use in their own personal lives? What technology would they have interest in learning about? I know a lot of times my colleagues ask me questions about different things that they know I'm trying out in my classroom, and I would want to know what they want to know more about. And finally, what technology are they not interested in learning about? I know that for some people in my department, they think that technology is the PowerPoint. For many of us, we think PowerPoint is something that's not necessarily outdated, that it still has its purposes, but isn't exactly forward thinking with technology. So I'd be interested in learning what they have to say. Since I did not actually implement this, I did not actually do a pre-assessment. So I just based my strategies on things that I thought would be coming up. So my technology mission statement would develop after the committee has discussed the outcomes of the pre-assessment. And the main purpose of the statement would be to clarify all goals and objectives of this technology plan so that teachers, students, administrators, and parents can understand the plan. While I would like to originally develop this for teachers, this is something that I would like to be able to extend to parents so they have a better understanding of what we're doing inside of our classrooms to better benefit the students that are their children. So step one to achieve the objective would be to introduce colleagues to the idea of multimodality via a PowerPoint. So I have an introduction to multimodality, which is the PowerPoint that I created for this class. You can see I start with different definitions of multimodality. What is the different definitions from Siegel, from Roswell and Banks, just to kind of define the term multimodality, to clarify it for my colleagues so they can understand it. I would go through the fact that our students are digital natives and how Prensky defines this term back in his paper from 2001. Our students do not learn the same way that we learned when we went through school. They are constantly surrounded by technology and information. And in order for us to best teach our students, we have to learn to adapt our teaching ways to meet the students' needs. I would give them, in the PowerPoint, it gives the facts. I think I've shown this before, that the average college graduate has spent fewer than 5,000 hours of his or her life reading, but over 10,000 hours playing video games and 20,000 hours watching TV. Again, this is a statistic from 2001, so you know that statistic is much higher today. So as English language arts teachers, we need to better understand how our students learn in order to better engage them with what we want to teach them. Then I would, in the PowerPoint, talk about some different multimodal tools. and talk about just research that I'm running in my classroom to give them a better idea of what I'm doing. I would give them an overview of the pilot study that I focused on, my 3 focal students, and then just some of the different tools that we've used in class, which I'll get to with my other PowerPoint. So, hold on one second. So my second step to achieve my objective would be to teach my colleagues how to use Blogger to interact with one another in an attempt to get them to use Blogger with their own students. I really think that the more hands-on experience that my colleagues have with the tools, the better they are going to be with using the tools and implementing the tools with their students. So this is the blog that I created. I have a welcome message, and I posted my first article, which is Prensky's article defining digital natives versus digital immigrants. I would take a lot of different articles, some of the readings from the class even, and post them to this blog periodically to give my colleagues an opportunity to be able to interact through blogging. This way they're blogging, they can see how easy it is, how quick it is to set up a blog, and hopefully take this skill and use it in their classrooms. Back to the original PowerPoint that I'd be showing them with my 3 focal students. Again, I would be able to share my student blogs. So again, I would have information from my specific guidelines to show them about how I use blogs in the class around different readings. And these are, again, some of the samples of the student blogs that I use. This one's on Huckleberry Finn, and I have them on the Scarlet Letter as well. Step 3 to achieve my objective would be to introduce my colleagues to Pinterest and how to use it. Again, this is something that I talk about, that would be touched on in my original PowerPoint that I would be sharing with the students, with my colleagues, plus I have the Pinterest page all set up. So this is a sample page that I've set up with Daisy. Again, I've shared this with you before, but it would show just another aspect of how to use social media in the classroom to hopefully further engage our students with what we are reading. So technology in teaching and learning, it's definitely going to benefit our students. I put my slide in from my original PowerPoint on digital natives. Our students do not learn the same way today that we learned even 15 years ago or 10 years ago. Our students are constantly surrounded by information and technology, and it is pertinent for us to be able to use this technology in the classrooms to teach the students new information. We have, as teachers, we have to be open to technology and be willing to use technology. And this class has really shown how easy it is to set up blogs, how to respond outside of the classroom, to carry on academic conversations through different forums. What I learned particularly from mini art school is things like fonts matter, colors matter, and white space matters. I looked at some of the stuff that I have even used in the past, which is through the exercises that we've done through this class, and I've seen that it's not the most aesthetically pleasing things. And I've gone back and reflected on things that I've done and used, and I've changed them. I've picked more interesting fonts, I've changed the color composition, I've added pictures, and it's really helped me through the reflection of this class to really see how I could continue to improve on the presentation, plus teaching my students the importance of presentation through all of this has helped as well. Moving forward, next year I really hope to try my PD plan that I really worked on developing throughout this course. I want to get my supervisor on board from the get-go. She's been following a lot of the things that I've been doing. She's very interested in how the blogging would work, and she thinks that it could really benefit some of my colleagues. However, the biggest roadblock that I face right now is the fact that there's so many changes going on. For those of you who are in the classroom, you know we're overwhelmed with things like SGOs and new observation requirements. And it's really hard to get teachers interested in trying yet again something new. So hopefully by next year some of this stuff will seem more like old hat to us teachers, and as I said, I want to start by really getting my colleagues who are most interested in getting some buy-in into my PD plan that I developed through this class. I want to use some of the readings that kind of define the key terms, and I'm particularly interested in sharing with my colleagues this information that I use from Mini Art School and showing them how we can take things that we might have been using for years and years in the classroom and aesthetically make it more interesting. And the more interesting it looks, the more engaged our students are going to be because they are aesthetic learners. Overall, I thought that this was a great class, and I'm really excited to put my MMP into practice next year.